Welcome to the Hell Clown Gate 2 guide. If you haven't seen my Gate 1 guide, the link will be in the description, as well as for Gate 3 when it's ready. In Gate 2, you will be fighting the small clown. At the start of the fight, he is in the arena alone. In this gate, getting hit by certain patterns will knock you out of the arena and cause immediate death. Battle items are the same as Gate 1, with Atro recommended for those who want to really become proficient with the fight, and Time Stop recommended for those who just want to clear ASAP. This is not really a mechanic and rather a pattern, and it will happen multiple times during the fight randomly. However, it is scripted to happen soon after the fight begins when you bring the boss down to a certain amount of HP. There are two variations. The boss will either teleport to either left or right side and jump on a swing rope, disappearing from the map and landing on the opposite side shortly after. The bombs will just randomly drop down around the map, mostly following the trajectory. Middle is unsafe during this, and you should go to where he lands as soon as he jumps away, and wait on him, dodging the bombs in the process. Some bombs stay on the ground and explode after a delay. Another variation is where he just jumps straight up and drops one bomb on each character exactly where they stand. These bombs have a delayed explosion. He will drop the second set of bombs soon after, and jump back to exactly where he was. He appears between the first and the second set of explosions. To properly deal with this, everyone should group on the boss for the first bomb drop, overlap all of them inside, and then all move outside far enough to drop the second bomb. After the inside bombs explode, you can jump back inside and start hitting the boss. Both of these variations are sometimes accompanied by a Medusa pattern from the big clown. You must look away or else you will get stunned. This stun is non-cleansable. You will almost guaranteed die if you get stunned here. When this pattern happens the first time soon after the fight starts, it will also trigger the appearance of the big clown, who will also fight you until the end of the gate. He will be relatively passive, only performing patterns occasionally on an internal cooldown. His patterns are very dangerous though. They will be discussed later in the guide. Usually support is expected to get close to the big boss, which most likely triggers the aggro on them, and direct the first pattern of the big clown away from the group. This is not really something that you have to do, since he will do these patterns dozens of times throughout the gate, and you will have to learn how to properly deal with them, as they will be directed at the entire group. However, this first time, if you do it, it's going to give your DPS teammates a nice DPS window where they don't have to be worried too much, and will help you push the boss faster. Red and blue safe spots. The boss will teleport in the middle and then disappear from the map. The big clown will perform a Medusa pattern. You must look away from him or you will get stunned. Since this stun is non-cleansable, this basically means a wipe. Two random players will be assigned with a color above their head, red or blue. If you get assigned with a color, you can only stand in the same color safe spot. If you didn't get assigned with a color, you can stand in both types. However, the blue safe spot only works if there is one person inside, and the red only works if there's two people inside. Depending on who gets assigned which color, you should quickly decide who goes to which safe spot. Usually, the red player goes to the closest red safe spot, and out of the two non-marked players, the one closest to that safe spot will go with them. The blue player goes to the nearest blue safe spot, and the fourth player just fills any remaining blue safe spot. The decision priority system is as follows. Let the marked players pick their spots first because they have the most limitations and available options. And also, if you're playing a class with lots of mobility options, you have a higher potential to flex, since you can quickly get from point A to point B. Knowing the mobility options of your teammates is very helpful in succeeding at this mech, as you can flex more and go as far as freeing up a safe spot where you are already standing to let your slower teammate in, utilizing your mobility to get to a farther safe zone. The damage field spreads from the boss outwards, so the farther you are from the boss, the longer you will have until it reaches you and one-shots you. But either way, the time is very low. The boss will disappear after a short delay. 7 cards will appear on the ground. The big clown will perform up to 3 targeted attacks. The aggro goes to a random player and is displayed as a target above their head. The player that gets the aggro needs to stand on a card, lock the attack, and move out to dodge it. If it hits the card will flip, and the nearby cards will half flip. 6 out of 7 cards are empty, and Kakul is sitting in the 7th. Your goal is to make the big clown hit Kakul. To do this, there is a guaranteed approach. You will hit either this, or this card first, revealing the content of the 2 surrounding cards as well. If you see Kakul in any of them, direct the second hit and end the mech. If you don't, direct the second hit on the other card on the other side. If you don't see Kakul, direct the third hit at the middle card. He's guaranteed to be there. After you lock the attack, card soldiers will drop at where you stand with yellow telegraphs that do a lot of damage. These card soldiers function in the same way as in Gate 1. Kill them quickly. Usually, Nineveh is used immediately after Kakul is found to hit both Kakul and card soldiers. Also, since most classes are using bleed runes, the bleed effect stays on the boss during the first couple of seconds of the mechanic, and you can hear it if you're standing near the card where the boss is. This can be used to at least figure out which side the boss is on, if not exactly determining the location. Before the mech starts, you need to know that even if one person is dead before it, it's a wipe. The maze mechanic counts as completed only if 3 players take their exits. Therefore, if someone is dead before this, you may press restart unless you want to practice the maze. The boss will play a cutscene and you will teleport into a different map. Your skill panel will change to hammer attacks. Your auto attack also changes to a hammer attack. Any player out of the 4 can kill the middle statue and become the guider. Their map view will zoom out and they will see the entire map. This player should go to any of these 4 corners and stand still without moving. The 3 other players get assigned a suit each. They will need to kill 3 card soldiers in order to be able to take the exit. Their map view will be zoomed in. The guider will have to call out the position of their card soldiers, which randomly spawn on the map. There are traps on the map as well that the guider doesn't see. Only the people running the maze are seeing them. If you step into such trap, you will get imprisoned and it will require your teammate to come to you and hit you a few times to free you. It could be any teammate, either another maze runner or the observer. This is highly undesirable though, since the time in the maze is limited. If you don't complete it in under 2.5 minutes, it's a wipe. Additionally, clown mobs periodically traverse the map through each row and column. If you get hit by these clowns, you will take serious damage and lose all progress towards the ×3 soldier skill, so you will have to kill 3 more after this. These clowns are moving very quickly. When they spawn though, a set of arrow-shaped telegraphs appears on the map, showing the direction. Each round of clowns spawns, there will be a horizontal and a vertical set of clowns. They will alternate between right to left plus bottom to top, and left to right plus top to bottom. An important detail is that there is a delay between horizontal and vertical spawns. Due to this, you're able to dodge them anywhere on the map by standing in a vertical or a horizontal safe spot. The only 2 areas of the map where you physically cannot dodge them are bottom left, which is unsafe during right to left plus bottom to top, and top right, which is unsafe during left to right plus top to bottom. The clowns overlap there. Stay away from those 2 areas as described above. The exits spawn 1 minute into the mech. They are also individual for each suit. To summarize, being directed by the guiding player, find 3 soldiers of your suit, kill them, and go to your exit while dodging clowns. This mech can be trivialized by screen sharing on Discord. It is absolutely recommended for deathless pulls. The boss will teleport to the middle and display a pair of rotating stars. They will spin either clockwise or counterclockwise 3 times. Memorize the sequence. After the 3rd star's rotation, a rotating pizza pattern will happen where the only safe zone is 1 slice. It always starts behind the boss, then goes into the same direction as the corresponding star pattern and repeats 3 times. So for example, if the rotation of stars was left, right, left, the first safe zone is in the back, then at 9, then at 6, at 3, 12 again, 3, 6, 9, 12, and finally 9, 6, 3, and at this point you're supposed to get out because the big clown will slam Kakul with a big yellow telegraph, stopping the mechanic. During the mech, 2 random players will get a debuff that inverts their controls. So if you click to move left, your character will move to the right, etc. Watch above your head or above your mana bar for the debuff. To practice this, there is a useful browser minigame that somewhat accurately replicates the process. The link is in the description. A way to make this mech easier is to use Inanna at the very start of it. It will allow you to pass even if you make mistakes. Historically, this approach was kind of a reward for groups who were doing very high DPS, because the DPS check in Gate 2 was much tighter than Gate 1, and most people were unable to meet it without hitting 2 Ninavi on the boss. However, in the current balance state, this strat is available to any group that does good damage. Practically speaking, there is not really a reason to not use Inanna here, unless you just desperately want to practice Velga properly. After this mechanic, Find Kakul mech will repeat in the same exact way as it happened the first time, and it will be the last mechanic of the gate. However, in Gate 2, the mechanics are not really the difficult part. That is why you should pay full attention to the following chapter of this guide, because it will go over the normal patterns of both Kakul and Saydon. These patterns will be killing you infinitely more often than any of the mechs. Spend some time to understand and memorize each of them. Blow. He winds up and blows in a big rectangular shaped hitbox. This pattern knocks you out of the arena. I should probably mention here that several of his dangerous patterns do not have any telegraphs, and have to be recognized based on the sound cues and animations. Jump out of the danger zone or use tenacity to not get knocked out. He winds up and blows at the farther part of the arena. Close to top is always safe. Very far from the aggro is safe everywhere. This pattern does not have a telegraph. It also knocks you out of the arena if you get hit close to edge. Grab. He reaches forward with his hand and grabs everyone who's close enough to top. The danger zone for this pattern looks approximately like this. It is not telegraphed. If you get grabbed, it's a guaranteed death unless you're a paladin and you're playing heavy armor engraving. Hand laser. He charges up a laser following the targeted player. Right before shooting the laser, he locks and stops following the player. Direct the laser away from the team and dodge out at the last second. This attack knocks you out of the arena. Double. He screams and smashes his hammer at a player. Then, he hits the same exact spot one more time. The second attack has a noticeably larger AoE than the first one. This pattern has no telegraphs. Spacebar out of the first attack and stay away from that spot for the second attack. This attack knocks you out of the arena. He smashes his hammer 3 times in a row quickly, going either left to right or right to left. This attack is telegraphed. It knocks you out of the arena. Birds. He sends birds that knock you down on the ground and do some ticks of damage if you stay in the damage zone. The birds fly out of the map, but soon return back with the same trajectory. This pattern is not telegraphed. Getting knocked will not knock you out of the map, only down on the ground. Big Hammer, a relatively rare pattern. He charges up a huge AoE attack following the targeted player, then locks in briefly and smashes that spot. The AoE for it is extra large. You should either run away from it really far or just go to the far edge, tuck yourself into the corner as much as possible and auto-attack outwards. Then the attack won't hit you even if you're very close to it. There are rumors that either the left or the right side is not guaranteed to live this way, but I myself have never died when doing this. This attack knocks you out of the arena or just straight up one-shots you. He will suddenly gather up and create a bubble around himself. This bubble can explode if you deal enough stagger to it. This is important because it means supports can easily trigger it too, not only the DPS classes. However, in most cases, you don't want to trigger the explosion. If you don't, after some time the bubble will disappear and there will be a pizza slice safe spot in front of him. Everywhere else around him will explode. This explosion does a lot of damage, but more importantly, it launches you in the air, so it will knock you out of the arena in most cases. If you do trigger the explosion early by doing enough stagger damage, the explosion will happen immediately and cover 360 degrees with no safe spot. The only way to dodge it is to be far enough. You can time your spacebar or any tenacity skill to avoid getting knocked, but remember that it also does a lot of damage. Triggering the explosion early will reset the natural stagger bar. When this pattern happens, the best way to deal with it is to stop DPS and go towards his front but staying away until the bubble disappears. When the bubble disappears, you're free to hit the boss even before the explosion happens. Hammer swings in front. Swings the hammer in front, doing very significant damage that can easily lead to death. Support should try to DR this if they can. He could also slide after doing this. If he does, he will require a counter, and if not countered, he will whirlwind towards the targeted player, doing massive damage on inside, and throwing bombs around that also do massive damage. If you get targeted by this, do not go towards the edge of the map or in the corners. If you start getting hit and you have nowhere else to go, you will get perma-paralyzed and likely won't even be able to time stop. If you find yourself in this situation, you can time stop early. He could also slide before the hammer swings. In that case, there won't be a counter. Front and back waves. Smashes his hammer in the back and in the front, sending expanding waves. These waves are paralysis only, so you can greed by hugging the boss. One wave explosion doesn't do significant damage, but if you don't paralysis immune, you will be sent away into the next explosion and that might hurt. Rocket Launcher. Has several variations, all of them are targeting a random player. He can either send 3 rockets straight and follow up by 3 more in a fan shape, or he can shoot 3 bombs that also leap flame puddles on the ground. He can also shoot 1 bomb and follow up with a fan shaped rocket. The rockets have a large AoE detonation radius that even overlaps with his back angle. Move farther away from him to not get exploded on. For the bombs, direct them in a way that the puddles don't block important areas of the map. Also, at the end of some variations, he can jump backwards and become briefly untargetable, leaving a big time bomb on the ground. Laser Cannon Teleport. He will teleport into a random spot on the map and start charging up the laser cannon. This laser is targeted at a player and the boss will keep aiming at you until the very last second before the beam actually shoots. This beam is somewhat unique in a sense that the collisions can be fully mitigated with paralysis immunity skills, but if you do get pushed back near the edge, it will throw you out of the map, so be careful. Call this out or spam danger ping whenever it happens, because some teammates might be on the opposite side of the map and not have visual contact when it happens. This is a prime example of why you should be playing the game on black bars. Trumpet Telegraphs. Could be a 6-way shape like this. Could also do waves inwards or outwards. At the end of waves, he will either swap weapon and require a counter with the same whirlwind pattern as discussed earlier, or he will do the 6-way shape, or, which is more often, he will do a 4-way trumpet pizza. These pizzas are push immune and they can kick you out of the map. The pizza always starts in front and goes counterclockwise. Instead of doing Ring Around Rosie with him, DPS in place, and then jump into the nearby segment that has already exploded, and continue to DPS. Counter pattern, double crawl. He crawls towards a player. If you get hit by this, you get dragged along the way and feared, which is uncleansable, and it might kill you by putting you into a Saydon pattern, if you're unlucky. If he doesn't hit anyone on the first crawl, he will turn around and crawl towards the same player again. Both are counterable. Usually, it's okay to counter the first one, but if he is in an uncomfortable position towards the outer edge or corners, purposely ignore the first crawl and drag him towards the center before countering the second crawl. Juggle Triple Throw. He will juggle 3 balls and throw them one by one at a player. The location locks as soon as the ball is released into the air. Bait each ball and then move out to dodge the explosion. Getting hit will do massive damage, but this pattern is easy to dodge. Also, Saydon will often do one of his patterns, ignoring his internal cooldown when Kakul does juggle triple throws. Jump and slam down. Jumps and slams down at the targeted player, knocking up near the landing area, followed up by a yellow telegraph on the outside. Then either requires a counter or performs front hammer swings. Fake counter. This is a timed pattern, which means that you will see less of it if you're doing big damage. He will do the same animation as for the counter crawl, but then he will disappear from the map and mini circles will appear. All of them except one are red, and the other one is white. You must quickly find the white circle and go in it, because every other circle will do massive ticks of damage to you and give you gauge. Inside the white circle, stay near the center because the red circles will start expanding and overlapping. Be careful because Saydon sometimes will continue to do his patterns. This is somewhat hard to properly dodge without time stop, but is definitely possible. Also, on your way to the circle, people might get some gauge and biz. Since the space is limited, the bizzing player should go to the edge of the circle and lock the direction by turning in a way that the rest of the team can fit between the beams. A helpful trick to identify the safe spot faster is to look at the top. Red circles will have Kakul barely hanging onto the ring, and the safe one will have him comfortably sitting in it.